Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Inside Titan Sports. My name is Eric Kohler, and as always, thanks for joining us. This week is an honor and privilege to introduce our new Titans tennis coach, Bobby Cashman, and we'll sit down with our very own manager of athletic communications, Michael Parsons. But first, let's hit the links and catch up with our head coach of men's and women's golf. That's Jamie Howell. Hey, Coach.
Hello, Eric.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Good. How'd you make it through the storm with Hurricane Irma and all that stuff that was leading up to the season?
You don't have enough time in the show for me to go over it. I'm doing fine.
That's good. Good. Now, women's golf started up this weekend. Lady Titan Invitational at Suntree. Pretty good showing to start off the season for the women's team.
It was. You know, the inaugural ladies event we've hosted at the college, that in itself is a step forward. Ladies been working hard since we got here, even with the break in the hurricane. You know, everything was about getting prepared. Finished second. More than happy with that.
So now you have 4 returners on the women's side, but you have 2 new exciting additions. Talk about the returnees and the new exciting additions.
Biggest part of it's been trying to get everybody on the same page.
Okay.
You know, going forward from last year. Last year was a struggle for them, and basically we're looking at like last year's old news. We're not even going to address it. Here's what we're doing this year. For the freshmen, it's getting used to college golf, the college life, going to class in the morning, practice in the afternoons. For the sophomores, it's a return to that with a bigger emphasis on we're just going to be spending a lot more time preparing for our events.
So now the women's team and the men's team, do they practice on the same schedule and the same venues, or that varies from team to team?
It varies a little bit. I try not to spread myself too thin, where some days men's and ladies will play the same golf course. We're always practicing up at the Golf Academy, the Fred Gay Golf Academy up in Cocoa. But at the best I can do it, I'll have the ladies practicing one place and the men another, and every once in a while I can't dodge having them together.
Now finishing second now at the Lady Titan Invitation at Suntree, what did you see out of the ladies early in the season?
I think they liked it. I think you know, the biggest thing that I took away from it watching them play is that it looked like they wanted to be there, and that's huge. You know, if you're comfortable in your own skin when you're competing, you've got an edge over all the other folks that are scared to death. And I'm not saying they weren't a little nervous, and I know they are, but at the same time, you know, when we finished, they were all looking forward to the next one.
Now, Coach, you get these young ladies that come into the program, and you've been around and you have that expertise. How do you get them to buy in the system to kind of soothe those feathers to take away some of that nervousness?
I think you're going a little farther along than we are yet. I may have a little bit of experience with the men. I'm still getting experience as far as coaching the ladies team. I keep telling them they're teaching me as much as I might teach them. The biggest issue is just organizing them. Let's have a plan. Let's have a plan of attack. Let's prepare for the course we're going to play. Here's the areas that I think are important, and here's how we're going to go about attacking that, working on it. And if they buy into it, I think they'll see the result. If they fight it, then it becomes a matter of, okay, did your way work, or did our plan of attack work better? So it's a little bit of a sales pitch.
So on the women's side, what are the expectations? I know it's early in the fall, but what do you see so far with your eye for talent?
No expectation for performance other
Okay.
than show up and give me your best. Give your teammates the best. They deserve that. I would love to see us continually improve a little bit. You know, if you keep getting a little bit better, then there's no ceiling. And if you keep getting a little bit better, I would believe their curiosity is piqued as to, well, how good can we get? Make no question about it, we are way behind in the recruiting world when it comes to high caliber ladies collegiate golf. And at the same time, as the word gets out that we not only field a team, but we have a competitive team.
Right.
Junior golfers, they look to competitive programs. They know who's competing and they know who's not. So the more competitive we are, the more talent we're going to attract, and all that's going to do is feed our future.
Well, let's segue and talk about men's golf. Big District 4 preview this weekend for the men's team, and you got 3 guys that play the national tournament, 7 overall returners. Kind of a special year for the men's team. Talk about them.
It is. It's nice to get to stay home and host the district preview and then the district championship this coming April. There's a fair amount of work that goes with it. We organize the event, we set up everything, but we get to sleep in our own bed too while the other teams are traveling here. Matthew Eschlard, Fraser Davern, Ryan Rosick, all returning from national team experience. I've got 3 freshmen that are joining the lineup. We'll enter 2 teams. We'll have a blue team, which is our first team, and a white team, which is our second team. So everybody will get their feet wet, as our first event of the year was washed out because of Hurricane Irma.
Now that's kind of a big deal, though. You got a lot of teams here that are going to come, and you get some good looks. Talk about more about that District 4 preview. Who's coming to town?
The usuals: Wallace State Community College, Central Alabama, Coastal Alabama, Cape Fear, several others. You know, the typical ones in our district that we compete with throughout the year. Probably the biggest difference you run into in junior college is we see an awful lot of the same people. And it just helps us to get a better feel for what's the competitive level of our district.
So now, last year you made the national tournament. Talk about that, how you all did, and the performance, and how they can take that experience, parlaying success this season.
We finished third.
Okay.
When we left town to go out to Kansas, we had our eyes on finishing 2 spots higher than that. You know, if we could play well, and nobody basically played better than us. We played reasonably. We had one marginal round that set us back, and at the national level, there's probably 4, 5, 6 teams that can compete for a national title. And at the end of the week, that's exactly how it played out. The top 5 teams at the end of the week were in the top 5 rankings all year long. Our one hiccup, the one round, knocked us back far enough, and we worked our way back to 3rd, which was a good comeback. I believe we had 3 players finish in the top 10. I don't think any other team had that. So we were on the cusp of it. You just can't have one marginal round at the national level.
Now, the same question for the men's side as I talked to you about the women's side. Any goals and expectations for the men's golf team?
Absolutely. We returned a lot of experience in 7 sophomores. The 3 freshmen coming in understand what is expected of the team. I expect us to compete at every event. I would think when we show up, we should be reckoned with at every single event. Can't control the outcome, can't control anything the other teams do, but if we stick to our game plan and we perform, we'll be a good team all year.
Now, Coach, men's and women's golf coach, now the challenges of bringing those 2 teams together, lots of your energy and time. What's your success and recipe to keep that going?
All planning. I have to lean on my assistant coaches. I have an assistant coach with ladies golf, Margaret Lazarus. I have an assistant coach for the men's golf team, Corey Herman, who played with us a couple years ago. So I need to lean on them. I've never been very good at delegating, so I'll have to learn to be a little better at that. Organizing, making sure the team members know what their role is, making sure what the schedule of events are. Each one of them has a calendar of events for each month. Each one of them knows their role, and the key is sticking to the plan and only adjusting the plan if need be. During the hurricane 2 weeks ago, we had to adjust our plan quite a bit. Everybody was on board, and we're able to hit the ground running again this week.
Now, a really special honor, Coach, for you personally and your family. You were nominated to the Golf Coaches Association America Hall of Fame. I know you're a very humble young man, but the fact of the matter, that's a big deal, Coach. Talk about that a little bit.
I like the part you call me young man, and it's awkward for me because I don't look at myself at that point in my career.
Okay.
That one of my peers feels the need to nominate me for such an award. I can't bespeak of the gratitude I would feel for that. And at the same time, I'd rather not think about it. Awards like that happen because of who's behind you. Any award you receive is going to be the byproduct of some pretty good play from your team, an awful lot of support from your administration. So something like that happens, that's just icing on the cake.
Well, I think it's pretty special. Now, are you in continued contact with some of the players that moved on to the career, both maybe on the golf course and the business world?
Absolutely. I talk to Kerry Sweeney weekly. He's up at University of Mississippi.
Okay.
Brad Bawden's at the University of Memphis right now. Michael Keymont's down at Florida Gulf Coast. Some other former players. We stay in reasonable contact. It's a lot easier today texting as opposed to years ago picking up the phone. Sometimes the guys are a little reluctant to call, and if they see me call, they're usually worried what I'm going to talk to them about. Could use an expletive there from practice, but it's a lot easier to communicate nowadays. The guys like texting. They'll send me their results. They'll check in how the team's doing. I see they go online and look at our website to see our results. So it's pretty easy to stay in touch.
Well, Coach, you're one of the good ones. We're lucky to have you, and you're always welcome back in the show. Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate that, Eric. Always a pleasure to be here.
That's head coach Jamie Howell. We'll take a short break and talk men's and women's Titans tennis. You don't want to miss that. We're going to meet up with Bobby Cashman. Stick around. This is Inside Titan Sports.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey fans, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. It's my honor and privilege to introduce you to the new head coach of Tennis Titans. We got head coach Bobby Cashman. Hey Coach.
Hey Coach. Eric, how you doing?
I'll tell you what, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I saw that you joined on in May,
Yes.
and what a great hire for Eastern Florida.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think it's a good fit, and I think their programs are heading towards the right direction, and they want to be an elite program, so I was more than happy to join their program.
Well, I was very excited to do the show when I saw you're going to be on here. And we have Jamie Duque.
Hi.
Jamie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You did a great job. You were on the show last season.
Oh, thank you.
And you were a natural. I thought you were
so
going to be my
nice.
co-hostess.
Oh, maybe next time.
So now you're a sophomore. This is your second year with the program.
Yes.
Now you've had 2 different head coaches. That's got to be a lot to take in right now, but actually it's going to help you down the road. Talk about Coach Cashman as the short time he's been here.
I've loved having Cashman here on the team because he's really been pushing us. I've been learning so much and improved within like the first month. Like we practiced twice over the summer, and even that just pushed my game so much.
And Bobby, you come to us, 17 years at UCF,
Right.
and you had so much success at that level.
Sure.
And other levels. I mean, talk about now the opportunities and challenges of building that same brand with Eastern Florida State College tennis.
Sure. Obviously, the junior college is different. You're
Okay.
looking for a different type of athlete. Usually, it's a person who's played past that 6 months who is not Division I eligible,
Right.
or they struggle academically and they've been kind of pushed to the side. So it's a little different, but the talent is still there. I mean, tennis is still tennis, and I think being in Florida, if you're a tennis or golf coach, you can always be very competitive and be on the national level. So I think that's where we're building our brand, and people are becoming more aware of our school, and we have a nice tennis facility. And when you have a nice facility, as you know, that's part of the sell.
No, it's a great brand, and it's
Right.
really hit the national scene. Now,
Right.
you have a player that you come into that Jamie is very talented on the team, but now you only get to see these kids 2 years. How's that as your biggest challenge for
Yes.
the level for 4-year
Right.
school?
That's the difference. So we really have to get organized, but I'm really on them to prepare them for that next journey and playing Division I or II, and really getting them the skill set of the work ethic and the habits and the rituals as far as physicality and working like a Division I program. So I didn't lower my standards because I'm in junior college.
Sure.
I'm keeping the same standards, and I think they're finally realizing how much effort and work it takes to be a good team, and it's a daily effort, and we call it giving your best effort every day, and when you do that, you grow as a team.
Well, I know it's a fresh assessment, and early on the ground, you got the men's and women's team.
Sure.
Talk about the women's team and Jamie and some of the players we can be excited about on the women's side.
Sure. I mean, I think I really recruited well this summer. I probably went to Miami 6 times on the weekends, but we had 2 transfers from ASA, and one girl was 3 in the country. The other girl's about 22 in singles, and then I had a transfer from Seward, and she was top 20 in singles. So I added those players to our roster, and Jamie's returning. And then I just got a player late from Jamaica, who's a very good player, Shayden Nickel. She's 1 in Jamaica in the juniors and 2 in the seniors. So she's added a lot. So those 5 have kind of, in my mind, I call them the Fab Five to my wife. I tease them like Michigan,
good.
but you know, they're growing and gaining better every day and getting to know each other. And then I have to add to the roster a little bit in the spring to make a fuller roster so we can compete with 6 singles and 3 doubles.
Now, Jamie, what's your role now? Are you a singles or a doubles player? You kind of a flex, can go both sides.
I'm definitely stronger as a singles player, but I'm definitely working on getting better in my doubles, trying to attack more into that, control the middle, just like what Cashman's been telling me. And we did so many drills to like gain better control over the middle.
That's pretty good. Now, you got all these new players. Now, how do you gel together and get the synergy from your standpoint as a player and then coach for you? I mean, for you, when you see these new faces, I mean, what's your job as a player being on there? You got 1 year under your belt to welcome them in, to feel like, hey, you're part of the family now.
What we do is just like hang out every weekend, do stuff outside of the tennis courts, and we'll eat together. I'll drive them home a lot, and we'll just hang out at the apartments,
Okay.
play ping pong at the apartments and everything. And then in the courts, it just shows that we're obviously close because we're always pushing each other. We're always saying, let's go tight ends, let's go, let's work hard. And we'll like call each other out and like motivate each other. And it's really nice to see us getting close, even though it's our first month or 2 months together. And with Cashman, he also always encourages us to like eat together and like be a team. Always reminds us to do that.
And Coach, that's important, like you
Sure.
said. I mean, that's a great compliment to be fresh here and to create that culture.
Sure.
To get everybody to buy in together.
Yeah, we're going to eat and we're going to cook together, on Wednesday night, and we're going to get the food and just hang out and just be a team. Sometimes just being together is important, and you form those bonds. I think those relationships are really huge, and I think if you have those relationships when you're competing, you're not going to give in as easily. You're going to fight for your teammates if you have a good bond, and if you don't like each other, you can't go far, as we know. It's in any sport, and it's a little bit more difficult in the tennis and golf world to establish that because it's an individual sport. So now we have to come together as a team and be a little selfless.
So set the table. You got a big event coming up this weekend. Talk
Sure.
about that, Coach.
Okay, so the ITA Small College Championship we're hosting, and it's the Small College Championships for all the junior colleges in Florida. And if you win this tournament, you get to go to a national event in October. And so it'll be quite competitive. And as you know, all the top 1 or 2 girls or top 3 girls in each school, they're very good. They can play Division I. It's just a matter of they're not Division I eligible. They played professionally, or they played over their 6 months eligibility, so the competition will be good. So it'll be interesting to see how we fare. And the first time I get to see them under stress, and I'll really see how they perform. And it'll be good because everyone's kind of had the same. We've practiced for a little bit, and then we had Irma for 9 days, and I kind of told the men's team, everyone's had 9 days off too, guys. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's back at it, so it should be interesting moving forward, see how we compete and how we hold our emotions together.
Now let's shed some light on the men's team. Talk about the men's team real quickly. How are they going to fare?
Men are going to play at Florida Tech.
Okay.
And they initially were going to go play a tournament at Georgia. And they're going to play with Florida Tech this weekend, Eckerd and Florida Southern, and kind of like a team hidden duel format. So they're going to get a lot of matches. They're going to play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's going to be good for them because they're going to see some really top Division II players at that level. And they're going to see what they're really made of, because sometimes, as you know, in inter-squad, you get tired of playing each other, the same people. Now it'll be interesting to see how they do and fare on the other side with opponents and a little bit of stress.
Well, that's good. That's a lot of reps for the men's team.
Exactly. It's excellent. Get them ready for the spring.
Now, Jamie, before we head to our next segment, I'll talk about some things maybe some people don't know about Jamie. Something funny about Jamie. Give me something.
Something funny about me.
Yeah.
Where
did you come from?
Well, I was born in the Philippines, and I moved to the States when I was 8. And it's funny because like every time I go back to the Philippines, they're always like, oh my gosh, Jamie, your accent, you're so American. And when I go back to me, I'm like, you guys are the one with the accent. And then like they always talk about, why are you so dark? Because I play so much tennis, and they're expecting me to be like, you know, a little bit lighter because I live in America.
Sure.
But they always make fun of me for those 2 things.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
And Coach, you have that good energy on the team. It's got to be exciting for you to start a new slate here at Eastern Florida.
It is. And, you know, after my stint at UCF, I took time. It was really good. I had knee surgery. I didn't do anything really for 7 months. It was terrific. And then I helped my friend at Rollins part-time. She got in a car accident, and she asked me to help her out part-time with the doubles and drive them around. And I slowly got back into it. I kind of eased, and it was good. And then this opportunity came up, and I thought it was the right opportunity. I wasn't ready to re-engage when I did get let go. I had some opportunities to jump right back in, but after 17 years at one place, I wanted some time to myself and my family a little bit, because it was like 24 years of straight tennis, you know, from Barry to Kansas to UCF, so it was good. And now I think I can create my own handprint on this program.
Well, I think it's great. We're lucky to have you. Jamie, great job as always.
Thank you.
Bobby, seriously.
Thank you. Good to see you,
Welcome
Eric.
to Eastern Florida.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a short break, come back, and talk with Michael Parsons. This is Inside Titan Sports.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey fans, welcome back to our final segment of Inside Titan Sports. Thanks for joining us. Now let's sit down and catch up with our very own manager of athletic communication. We got Michael Parsons. Hey Mike.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Season's here. It's just a great time of the year.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, all of our teams are doing well. You know, I mean, Jamie talked about his women's team over the weekend last week, really having a good weekend to start their season. And you know, the tennis team starts theirs this weekend, and our fall sports are underway.
Yeah, I mean, talk about, you got men's soccer. They had a big-time matchup at home, televised on Daytona State. Tough loss, but they're coming off back-to-back playing top 10 teams. Talk about men's soccer.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's just like Jamie was saying, the hurricane kind of really disrupted things for all of our sports teams, which, you know, it disrupted our lives as a whole. So, you know, I can only imagine what it does to your sports teams when you're not practicing for, you know, a couple weeks. And unfortunately, you know, there was a bad bounce, and you know, we took a tough loss to Daytona State, but you know, the men's soccer team's really talented, and you know, led by Danilo Orsi Didamo. I think that big things are ahead. You know, they have a couple big games this week. You know, Friday night they're actually at home against ASA Miami. That's a game that's on TV. Conference game, big game for them. I expect a really good bounce back from that team this week. You know,
head coach Oliver Twelvetrees does a great job. Like you said, a great squad for the men's soccer team, but You know, you lose the number 1 team in the country, number 6 in the country. Those are going to pay dividends toward the end of the season.
Definitely, and both games were one goal games. It was a tight game the whole way through. So there's nothing lost other than the loss on the slate. But other than that, as far as rankings and that kind of thing go, at the end of the season, you're going to look at that team and say, man, they're really a tough team, which we know they are.
Well, now talking about the women's soccer team, they launched and got their first conference win, a big conference win, Coach Carr and the women's soccer team. Yeah,
definitely, and it was surprising when we were talking about it before the game. They hadn't played in 22 days.
Wow.
In between their games, Labor Day, when we were there covering the games, was the last time that they had played. Was the last TV game was on Labor Day, and so it was good to see them get off, and they scored early and often. Kalisha Duro had 3 goals and 1 in the first 20 seconds to really set the tone. Christina Garriga, who had a big game in the first game of the season, she had 4 goals last night or Monday night, and so there really was a whole team effort, and it really was good to see after that long of a break that the women's team just caught fire so fast.
Now, women's soccer, they get to host the national championship yet again here at Titan Soccer Complex. Talk about that. That's a special honor, big for the brand.
Yeah, it really is. It's a fun week. It's a long week, and it's a busy week, obviously, with that many teams in town, that many soccer games, But it's a lot of fun, and we're always right in the middle of it, which is always nice too, And we expect to be there again this year, right in the middle of things. We're number 2 in the national rankings right now. I expect we'll stay right there, be number 1 by the end. Tyler is number 1 right now, and Tyler's played a lot of great competition and beat them, so they look like they're going to be one of the top teams again this year. They were one of the top teams last year, and so it's going to be a fun week though. That's always the week before Thanksgiving, and so it's kind of the end of the fall season kind of, and then you can regroup for the winter season. So it's nice to have it right here in home. And if anybody wants to see some great soccer, that week before Thanksgiving, you can't beat the soccer that's played out there.
Absolutely. I mean, the national brand for men's and women's soccer is just amazing across the national rankings. Now let's talk about women's volleyball. Coach Andrew Rasmussen, she's got the team off to a great start.
She really does, and this team's really good. Elisa Pauser, one of her middle blockers, is actually leading the Region 8 in blocks this year, and really solidified that front line for them, and they're really on a roll. They have a huge game Tuesday night. They play Central Florida, and they're number 7, I believe, in the country right now. Central Florida is, and it's a conference game for her, and so that's a huge game at Titan Fieldhouse, and so hopefully we can pack the place and make it real loud, and Andrea can get a win for girls this week.
So a great hire for tennis. Bobby Cashman was on the show earlier. 17 years experience at UCF, had some great success there. Really, you can see Eastern Florida is starting to get the talent across the board, not only student athletes, but you're getting the coaches as well.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of those things that I learned so much from him, and just because he's got that Division I experience, and so he's telling me things as well, and making my game actually go up as well, which is good. And that's kind of what we're doing is everybody just raises each other's game, and everybody just helps everybody get a little bit better each week. And if we continue to do that, then we think we're one of the best athletic programs in the country.
Well, Mike, and I second that thought as well. Now, Mike, you have a lot on your plate now. You manage all the athletic communications. This is a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talked about it last year, but again, now since you're starting to see the brand is upticking, a lot of people want a piece of Eastern Florida. Talk about how that affects your job responsibility.
Yeah, and like I think I said last year too, I'm still having a lot of fun. It's one of those things that I don't really work because I'm always in sports and I'm always having fun, and the coaches make it so easy for me because all the coaches do such a great job, and all of our teams are good and competing well, and that makes your job really easy in my role. But the social media has taken off, which is great. That's something that I was really hoping I could do when I started here, and that's really taken off. And you start to see in the middle of the games the tweets going back and forth. So that's always something you're like, all right, here we go. We have fans actually paying attention. It's fun. Like last night, I had a lot of engagement last night as we're scoring goals, and everybody seems to be having a good time. So it's fun. I've also dipped into a little public address announcing now, which is
I know a lot about that.
Something I didn't know I'd ever want to do, but I really enjoy doing it now that I do it. And it's like anything, as you get more comfortable, you do more.
Yep.
And so I'm enjoying it, and I'm just waiting for for the next big thing, which I think is, our men's and women's soccer and volleyball to be playing in national tournaments.
Well, I think it's great. Now let's do a little foreshadow. Let's talk about men's basketball.
Yeah.
Coach Schulman had a big event, and it was well attended by a lot of big schools across the country. Talk a little briefly about that.
Yeah, the coaches in Florida decided, I think started last year really, to do a JUCO tour. And what they do is they all open the gyms to Division I and Division II coaches, and they call it Pro Day. Right. And so we held ours, and it was on a Wednesday afternoon, of all things, because the storm knocked that out as well. It was supposed to be a Saturday. And so we rescheduled it for a Wednesday afternoon, and 45 different Division I teams were there.
Wow.
And so it was great to see, the fans, the stands were all packed with nothing but Division I and Division II coaches, and so I did some announcing and had kind of a fun day, and we did, 5-on-5 and some drill work, and, it was good to see, and our team is just loaded this year. They really are. We returned some really good guys from last year's team, and I think we're ready for another run. Jeremy's going to be on next week to tell you all about, because they kick off October 1 officially. Practice starts, so basketball is here. But yeah, it was a great day and really an eye-opener to what this program is actually building.
And lastly, you had a nice little golf event to raise some dollars for Eastern Florida. Talk about that briefly.
Definitely did. We had the EFSC Scholarship Foundation golf event last Friday, and 135 golfers, I believe, something around there.
That's
so
great.
It was really good. Suntree Country Club was great. They're always a great host, and did a great job with things, and it was fun for everybody. And a local team, of course, won, and they shot 10 under or something. I mean, it was crazy the round that they had. So it was a good day, though, and raised a lot of money for our scholarship programs, so it was a good day.
Well, it's a good day to be Eastern Florida State College as well. But, Mike, great job as always. Always love what you do for the program.
I appreciate it.
Well, fans, that's all the time we have for Inside Titan Sports. Thanks for joining us. Remember, anything and everything, check us out online at EFSCTitans.com. On behalf of my producer, Rob Landers, I'm Eric Kohler saying so long. And remember, fans, Eastern Florida, where Titans rise.